Hi everyone, it's Jennifer Nassy with Learning Leaf LLC and welcome to video 14 of my 30 videos in 30 days series. And yesterday I started talking a bit about toxic load and the toxins that we come into contact with, especially in our food supply. And I have a couple more points that I want to talk about regarding foods and toxins, and then in our next video we will start to get into some of the toxins we can come into contact with through other products. So something I didn't get a chance to touch on yesterday was the concept of genetically modified foods. And that's become quite a hot button topic. There are a lot of advocates of genetically modified foods out there who say that it's going to help us to grow crops that are more resistant to disease, that they'll be healthier, we'll be able to feed more people. There are also people on the other side of the fence that say really because they're more resistant to pesticides and things like that, that means that farmers are using even higher levels of pesticides, which is further damaging our soil, that studies have shown that they are no more resistant than organic crops and that they are leading to super weeds, as some people are calling them, and that our bodies don't know how to process these genetically modified foods. So what are GMOs? So genetically modified organisms have had their DNA altered. So either bits of DNA are inserted or taken out. And the way they do that, they can directly insert it or they'll use a virus to get the DNA in there. And what they're trying to do often is to create crops that are more drought tolerant, that can withstand higher pesticide use, so that farmers can use the pesticides to take care of any infestations, those kinds of things. Ones that'll have longer shelf life even, they're playing around with. So the thing is, there is some concerning evidence that our bodies don't necessarily know what to do with genetically modified foods. When you start changing foods like that, our body doesn't recognize it as it would appear in nature, and so sometimes we just don't know what to do with it, and that can create some damage in our systems, and our body can sometimes react to that in a toxic way. So to be aware, some of the most genetically modified crops in America currently are wheat, soy. In fact, about 90% of conventionally grown soy is genetically modified at this point, and also corn. Corn is very high in the genetically modified category for how much of it is grown that way. So the thing is, if you know, our government subsidizes corn and soy in particular, and you will find corn and soy in tons of processed products, and so we are consuming a lot more of it than we realize we are. The good thing is, if you buy organic, you don't have to worry about it as much. Products cannot be labeled organic if they have genetically modified organisms included. So just something to be aware of. Again, it is a hot button topic. They've been heavily regulated in Europe and in some cases banned. Here we're not quite as eager to do that yet, and unfortunately we don't have labeling laws so that consumers don't know if they are consuming GMOs or not. But I can tell you the odds are, if you are eating conventionally grown wheat, soy, and corn, then you are consuming genetically modified foods as well. Another thing I wanted to touch on is artificial sweeteners. So artificial sweeteners are chemical in nature, and our body also doesn't know how to process them. One of the reasons that a lot of them are 0 calorie is because our body can't digest it, it can't process it. But the problem is that some of those chemicals, again, get packed away in our fat cells and can actually cause us to gain weight. So artificial sweeteners are not the way to go. If you want to learn more about alternatives, you can visit learningleafcoaching.com and check out my Beating the Sugar Blues class. It will talk about some alternatives in there for you and also give you more information about artificial sweeteners and how they function in our body and that sort of thing. So try to go for naturally sweetened products if you can. And then finally, I wanted to talk a little bit about artificial food colorings, right? So there also has been a lot more in the news about that. There are food colorings, especially red dye number 40. That one's been coming up a bit more. that, again, are starting to be regulated or banned in other places such as Europe because of the impact they have on kids. Things like hyperactivity, behavior issues. So again, these are chemical in nature. Our body wouldn't normally be coming into contact with these sorts of things, and it doesn't always know what to do with them, and we, can sometimes get ourselves into trouble when we have an abundance of that in our diet. And you would be surprised where you might find food dyes. I was actually shopping yesterday at Costco, and I saw this wonderful looking seaweed salad. It looked fresh. It was in, a 2-pound container or 1-pound container. It was seaweed and sesame seeds and a little oil. It sounded perfect until I looked at the label and it had a blue dye in there. I have no idea why, but I did not wind up buying that product because, again, that's not something that needs to be in there. So those are some things for you to keep an eye out for. And stay tuned for video 15 because we will start looking at some self-care products and things that you should also be mindful of when it comes to what you put on your body. So until then, take care, and I will see you soon.